Hello and welcome to Theology on Tap. I'm Pastor Andy, and I have cancer. It was last December I noticed the lumps on my neck that really got me scared. A couple of months later, I got a needle biopsy done, and in end of April, I got the test results back. I had a thing called Mantle Cell Lymphoma. Of course, just like any other person, it doesn't matter if you're a believer or not believer. I was angry. One of the first things that came to my mind was death. My mother had stomach cancer that spread to her liver, and within 6 months, she was gone. 4 or 5 months ago, my father died as well. Ever since my mother died, my family's been kind of not getting together as much anymore because my mother's the one that really forced us to come. Just like many other people, if your siblings were not your siblings, would you be friends with them? And most likely not. So we've been kind of at a distance. The biggest surprise for me, the only time that I actually cry, when my brothers did reach out. We had lunch together. They've been very supportive. And that's something that I never really expected. We got together more in the last 4 months than we did in the last 6, 7 years. But yeah, that's been the most amazing thing for me. It really does change a lot. If you don't get along with your family that well, you don't think it doesn't really affect you that much, but I realize that it does. Growing up, that C word means death. But more I studied mantle cell lymphoma, it turns out that it's more of a slow growing cancer, but I don't know how long I had it for. So I started immediately going on keto diet because I read from a Boston College report that keto diet is very successful against cancer. I don't know if that's true or not, but I said, what do I got to lose? So I went doing that. Ever since then, which was 4 months ago, I lost 32 pounds so far. And I don't know if all of that is through keto diet or some of it is cancer. So I'm not 100% sure. So starting on May 1st until, middle of September, I've been going to see oncologists and getting some tests done, but I have not gotten any treatment yet. Because it takes a long time, I guess, with insurance to get things organized. I'm just patiently waiting. As a believer of Jesus Christ, I believe He is in charge. And this is where I think faith is so important because, you go to a lot of ups and downs in life, right? Especially when you're thinking about cancer, death, back pains, fatigue, feeling sick sometimes, getting nauseous. Every time something goes wrong, I feel like I'm just getting attacked by the disease and it gets you depressed. You get little anxieties. I think faith is so important though because, the definition of faith, there's 2 different definitions. One being He's the crutch that we could lean on. And I do need it a lot of times. Although most of the times I'm still okay. A lot of times when I'm feeling down or I don't know why I wake up depressed and all I could think about is death, then I have Jesus to lean upon. And another definition of faith is He's the shelter that I could go run and hide. I know there are a lot of people around me who is praying for me, who is encouraging me. They're always talking about feeling positive and to have a better frame of mind. But sometimes I would like to be just alone with God, hide with Him, so at least get the comfort and the courage to move on. There was only one video I made since I found out I had cancer. And I'll put that up here at the end of the video so you could watch that. It has to do with the right hand of God. That right hand of God doesn't mean that only the blessings and goodness comes from God. Sometimes tragedies comes from God as well, and I do see it as that God is in control of this. I'm not going to blame the devil or my past sins and all that nonsense, and I do believe those are all nonsense. I'm not going to blame those. If you read the New Testament, especially the books written by Paul, that is so good at this time. As a pastor, I thought, well, now that I have cancer, maybe I would look at faith a little bit differently. Maybe my theology would change. But surprising to me, it hasn't changed at all. But I feel more passionate about the faith. I understand Paul more, actually. The New Testament becomes more alive now because of it. Paul says he faces death every single day. For him, he said, to live is Christ, but to die is to gain. And why would he say that? Because he was always facing death. He wasn't afraid. He was facing it all the time. He just either became numb about it or he just got really courageous from the Spirit of God. So if you read his books, there is urgency to it. You got to fight your enemy, put on the armor of God, run the race to win, all that kind of stuff. It's just don't waste time. Be a faither. Take a step of faith. That kind of stuff makes a lot of sense now. Because in the past, I was more of a ho-hum kind of guy. I'll preach what I want to preach. I know that my theology is different, but I will just speak it. And if people agree, that's great. If not, that's great. There was no urgency in it. But now I feel like there is an urgency. I want to share the gospel that will bring everybody together. Not just because we have similar faith, but because there is an understanding, there's no judgment, that Jesus Christ died for everyone, the whole universe he died for. When Jesus comes back, it won't be so much to destroy the world, but so that he could come back and say, well done, my good and faithful servant. Subscribe to this channel. Go ahead and watch this video when I talk about the right hand of God, and let's go on this journey together. Okay, most likely I'm gonna probably go on immunotherapy and some other holistic treatment that I've been doing since I found out I had cancer. Thanks for joining me today. Come on back and subscribe to this channel, like this video, and tell everyone, people who have cancer as well as those who have people that have cancer, because we all suffer together in a way, right? But rejoice in suffering, as the Bible says. And I'll see you next time.